Welcome to this new series. These are the Clionadh Chronicles where I'm going to show you in every video, and if I did the math right, we are going to have 24 parts of this. So this is now part 1, but I will show you 3 looks with each one Clionadh shade in the center of attention. When I did my swatch fix and chill about Clionadh, I swatched all 72 shades that I have. I just have the big one here, the other one is in my shelf, but I swatched them all for you. And I also ask you, how do you want to see these shadows incorporated in looks? And most of you said, yeah, like the sweet spot of 3 to 5 looks per video. And since I do have 72 shades, divided by 3 makes 24 parts with each 3 tutorials. Each tutorial will be done the same. I do have an app here. This is a Wheel of Fortune app. I put every shade in here, and before every look, I do spin that wheel. I will put the video aside of that, and then I will choose what mattes I'm going to combine that with. So for me, every single look is then a surprise because I have to just wing it, depending on what the Wheel of Fortune is choosing for me that tutorial day. I don't know on what frequency these videos will come in. I don't think I can do it each week, but I try to just, I don't know, like stretch it out at least for the rest of the year and maybe the beginning of 2025. The goal is definitely to use every single Clionadh shade. Also, we'll put in the title what 3 Clionadh shades are going to be featured in this video. So if you want to go back to then in the future any other video, you just have to put it in the search bar on my channel, put the shade name down, and then you see if there is a look or not. I think that's enough for the intro, so now let's head over to 3 looks. Okay, so let's just spin the wheel. Roseline is the shade I'm going to use. So Roseline is this shade down here, and it's a hybrid multi-chrome. According to the website, Roseline has a brown base with medium glitter particles that shift rose, orange, yellow. Not gonna lie, I don't see it that much. I mean, I see the brown base, yes, but to me there is also a lot of purple going on. So let's do a beautiful swatch. Okay, so I don't know, again, camera, it's going to be a surprise when I edit, but what I see here, I see the brown base with a lot of warm undertones, but I do see a very, very intense purple going on. And for the mattes, I will actually include the Danessa Meyerig's Groundwork palette in Blooming Romance, because this has some like rosy brown tones, some purpley brown tones, some warm brown tones. So I think that can be a good base. And for Inner Corner highlight, I might use some of my liquid eyeshadows, or one of the liquid eyeshadows. So I'm starting with the powder side here of Allure, and that one is my classic transition color today. Next up, I go into the cream side of Lovesick, and I apply this here on the outside, and I drag it into the crease to deepen that too. On a small brush, I now go into the powder side of XO, and that one I use to deepen up the outer part of the crease. I decided to go over everything in the blend also with the powder side of Dreamy, but for whatever reason, I just was zoned out and I didn't talk while I did it. Glitter glue is down, so now I tap into Roseline. I start to tap this on, and I have to apologize for the loud bark here. The dogs in the neighborhood, they are very, very annoying when everybody's walking their dogs. On one of the smaller brushes with no additional pigment, I now go through the crease again to just diffuse the edges of that shade a bit better. And here you have now Roseline applied on the lid. So for the lower lash line, I'm lining the waterline with Rare Beauty Compassion. Then I go into the cream side of Evermore, and I use this to smudge this along the lash line. Then I go into the cream side of Lovesick, smudge that on top and slightly down. I go into the powder side of Dreamy again, and I use this to buff it out even more. And to keep it simple for the inner corner highlight, I use the Pat McGrath liquid eyeshadow in the shade Divine Champagne. And I take a small brush, pick something up here from the wiped off applicator, apply this here on the inner corner. And here we have the first finished look with Clionadh Roseline. And for the lips, no lip liner, I just used the Givenchy lip balm in the shade 10 a black pH activated, whatever, dark pink lipstick. Now let's head over to look number 2. Okay, let's spin the wheel for look number 2. And I always tap like a couple times on that wheel to just keep it spinning. And then we have the shade Ferric today. And Ferric is this guy down here. I'm very excited. Oh, that looks so pretty. I think I haven't used Ferric. It's one of those that I just swatched. Well, actually, most of them I just swatched. Let me read to you what the website says. Ferric shifts rose gold lime aqua with multicolored micro glitter and a silvery sheen. Ooh. Yes. This time I agree very much on that description. Oh, that is pretty. Those holochrome glitters are visible once it shifts and the blue shift goes away and that other base comes through. So pretty. And when I just kept on looking to the shift, because to me it is, I see the lime, yes, but I more so see pinkish browny aqua shifts, and I thought immediately of Retro Glam from Natasha Denona. I think this is going to be a very, very good palette to just make this shade shine even more. So I start with the shade Evergreen. This is a cream to powder shade that I actually find okay. And I do apply this on the outer half of my lid. Very, very messy in the crease, and I just leave it like that. I now go into the shade Sage and I apply this in the center of the crease, bringing it outwards on top of Evergreen, and I just blend it out. Also a tad bit inwards, but in the inner part of the crease I will do something pinkish. So I now go into Belle and I apply this here on the inner crease part, and I blend this on top of the Evergreen and Sage shades. Before we rock that look with the Ferric shade, I go into Oz from Natasha Denona and I apply this here on the outer parts on top of Evergreen. I don't know how much this is going to be covered. I just want to have a different shimmer on the eye that I can blend Ferric in. And now I go into Ferric and I start to tap this on, bringing it inwards, of course. I should have used a smaller brush, I just realized, but it's fine. We're going to roll with it. And here where Oz is, I tap it out. I do not swipe it to have an opaque layer. I just tap it out to like give it a pixelating effect. So on the lower waterline, I now apply the Colourpop BFF Cream Liner in the shade Icebreaker. Just line the waterline with that. And now I go into Evergreen again and I blend this here on the lower lash line. And I tap back into Belle and blend that underneath. I now go into Holly, apply this here on the inner corners, and I now go into Flutter and tap this here on top. And here we have now the finished look featuring Clionadh Ferric. Clionadh. I really practice now to say the name right. Honestly, I feel like, okay, we have to look at this now from two sides. Let's talk about Ferric let alone for this short after shade review. Beautiful shade. I love the shift. I love the holo specs. I love the composition of the pinks, the aqua, the bases. Absolutely stunning shade. Oh, by the way, have I said it in the beginning? I don't know. It's a dimensional multi-chrome. But what I want to stress out now is the fact that this shade is like what I'm missing in the Retro Glam palette from Natasha Denona. That was not planned, but you cannot argue with me on how awesome this shade fits the vibe of Retro Glam. It's like I took Retro Glam and just changed out one of the more boring shimmers and did Ferric inside, and now we have an indie Retro Glam. And oh boy, This is absolutely stunning. What a beautiful look. But now let's head over to the last look for this video. Let's spin the wheel for look number 3 now. I'm very excited what shade is going to be now. Line of Queens. And Line of Queens is this beautiful shade here. And I just realized that I placed it in the wrong category because I didn't check really well. It is in my line of glitter multichromes, but Line of Queens is a glitter vibrant multichrome. Clionadh says, has a cool purple base that shifts bright peach, yellow, lime, aqua. That's a chaotic description, honestly. So let's see how true. Ooh, this is. Oh, wow. I see the base. I see the shift. I see the metallicness. I see the reflectiveness. Ooh, that's going to be very, very interesting today. Oh, and if you wonder what I do now that I know that this is in the wrong category, I will for sure print out that whole thing again because I can't live with that. I will rearrange everything so that it now fits. And to make this shade shine the most, I will pull in an all matte palette that I haven't used before. It's the new Narimi Cicada palette. This is a 10 pan with super neutral shades, but it has a bit of like mauve going on, a bit of cool tone, and I think that will match this vibe perfectly. I'm starting with the shade Dust here from Cicada, and I apply that in the crease and above as transition. I now go into Formicary, and I apply this directly in the crease for some more depth. I then go into Belly Ring, and I apply this on the inner crease part. And I go into Ebony for the outer crease and outer V area. And now I go into Line of Queens, and I apply this all over the lid. And then I take one of the brushes I just used, and I just run it without additional pigment through the crease. For the waterline, I'm using the Colourpop Cream BFF Cream, the Colourpop liners in the shade Peach Fuzz. And I just line it. I want to have a light, bright waterline for this look. And then I go into Belly Ring again, and I smudge this here on the lower lash line. But I also tapped into Ebony, and I apply this close to the lash line and smudge it a bit outwards and a bit into that pinky shade. For inner corner highlight, I'm using the Colourpop Flexitarian Super Shock highlighter because there's nothing in the Cicada, since it's all matte, that I can use here for the inner corner highlight. I've never used a Super Shock highlighter for the inner corner, but I'm kind of digging it. What I'm not digging is the Peach Fuzz waterliner. I don't know how I feel about this. And here we have now the finished look. On the lips, I'm wearing a MAC lip liner in Mahogany, and I topped it off with the Givenchy Prism Libre. Is it Prism Libre? No, it's Le Rouge Interdit Balm in the shade 10 from my focus box, because it just matches the vibe. I love that look. Honestly, I loved them all. And I think my choice of matte shades from the Narimi Cicada palette was very, very clever, because it complements the different shifts and undertones in this shade with that purple, but it also gives enough contrast to the aqua tealy lime shift that is described on the Clionadh website. Honestly, I don't see, I see lime, yes, I do see lime shifts, but did it say aqua and teal? I don't know, maybe I'm mixing that up. I have no clue. I already forgot it. Although when I read that to you here for the video, it was like 40 minutes ago, but I forgot that. I like that. I love the shift. I love the look. I love everything. I loved every single look. Everything worked out. And at this point, I cannot imagine that in some point or in some case of the series, I will be sitting here and say, oh my God, I don't like that look. I don't think so, because Clionadh is just top-notch quality, and although not every single shift is really given it, the thing just is, how do you pair this? What kind of complementary mattes do you use? So I think I can make them all look good on me. So this is now the end of the video. What do you think? What look was your favorite? Is there anything you'd be like all over the moon now and say like, oh my God, I totally need that shade? Wait for more series, and very important, wait for a sale. because Clionadh is expensive, but they have great sales every now and then going on. So make sure to subscribe so you do not miss any of the videos. And if you do not have an opinion on any of the looks, but you want to push the algorithm, then just comment Narimi. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.